Hello everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like Therian and furry content, as well as arts and crafts, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the like button on this video. Now, this video's topic is actually really important, and can be a bit heavier than most of my other videos. There's nothing explicitly triggering in this video, but it does talk about mental health, and if that is something that upsets you, make sure to click away from this video. Now, this topic is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a very long time on this channel, and I haven't really gotten around to it, but I recently saw a post on TikTok that just made me really have to make this video. But we are going to be talking about the mental health side of therianthropy, clinical lycanthropy, and everything that has to do with physical therians, and whether therianthropy is a physical identity or not. Now, just to be clear, a therian is someone who non-physically identifies as an animal, but sometimes that definition gets a little muddy, and people believe different things, so we're going to really dig to the bottom of what is the mental health state of therianthropy. So, can physical therians exist? See, the definition that's usually provided is very clear that it's non-physically identifying as an animal. But in the origins of therianthropy, it was kind of possible to be physically a therian. See, the terms therian and therianthropy are actually fairly new, which actually is the major cause of a lot of the problems that I'll be discussing in this video. But therians were not really labeled, or a collective at all, really, before like the 90s or so? I don't know the exact dates, but all I know is that therianthropy originated on a forum on the internet. So it's only really existed since the internet's existed. Now, the concept of being a therian has always existed, I'm sure, but the collectiveness and grouping everyone together with these experiences into one label, therian, is where it gets a bit complicated. See, it's very well known that therians experience different things. I say in my videos all the time that every therian's experience is different, which makes it complicated when you really discuss what a therian actually is. Because this experience is something that is internal, it is in your mind. And everyone's brains work and think completely differently, as well as our perceptions of the world in general. So how can we really say that one person is a therian and another person that's also a therian are experiencing something that can even be labeled the same thing? See, everyone's perception of what a therian actually is surprisingly different. There's really not one uniform answer for what the experience of being a therian has to be. All it is that you identify as an animal non-physically. But when you throw in that physical layer, does that create a different thing than therians? Or are therians also able to be physically therians? And then, that also begs the question, what is a physical therian? Now, to my understanding, physical therian can mean a number of things, which adds to the complexity of this issue. But a physical therian could be someone who identifies as a physical wolf because their internal sense of self is a wolf, so their external sense of self must also be a wolf. And it could also be someone who believes fully that they are a wolf physically. There has been so many people all over therian communities bringing around the terms clinical lycanthropy into conversations when referring to therians and the difference between therians and people who are experiencing delusions. Now, therians can experience delusions, and I am someone who has been diagnosed with conditions that cause delusions and have experienced delusions myself. Now, that does not say that my experience is exhaustive, but it does give me a bit of an edge when it comes to what a delusion is and treating it. So first of all, what even is clinical lycanthropy? Now, clinical lycanthropy is a label for people who experience a delusion where they are turning into a dog, or they are a dog, or a wolf of some kind. It is specifically only that animal that is considered clinical lycanthropy, hence the term clinical lycanthropy. But it has only been recorded really only about 43 times, I think. So that's not really a situation that happens all that often. So something that people bring up is that, oh, you might not be a therian, you might be experiencing clinical lycanthropy. It is so dangerous to throw around mental health conditions and terms, and especially to place them on other people, especially over the internet. A lot of therians also struggle with their mental health. It is very common for therians to also experience things such as depression, or anxiety, or even bipolar disorder, and autism and ADHD. It's an incredibly common thing for therians to also have a mental health condition or disability. And I think it's so incredibly dangerous, considering the fact that most of the therian community on the internet, or at least who watches therian videos, are kids, to push around the idea of clinical lycanthropy and these heavy delusions, which are things that are mostly experienced by adults, onto kids who might think they are experiencing that. So many mental health conditions are only diagnosed in adulthood, not because only adults have those conditions, but because kids can potentially have the same symptoms as those conditions while not having the conditions. So spreading around mental health conditions that are as rare and intense as things such as clinical lycanthropy or different degrees of schizophrenia is really a bad thing for the impressionable people who are watching these videos. Because a lot of kids who have mental health struggles have them very, very badly, and they don't really have support to take care of them. So if a kid is feeling really bad and they think that they might have clinical lycanthropy, it's going to cause a lot more damage than just having them know that they can have a hard time and still also be a therian, and that hard time is not also attached to them being a therian. Therianthropy ordinarily should not be causing you any harm. Now, it might cause you to feel bummed out that you're not like physically your stereotype, or that you feel disconnected, but it shouldn't really extend to the fact that it's interfering with everyday life. Now, if your therianthropy is interfering with your everyday life, if you are crying in bed every day because you don't have a tail, or you're doing quads until you're hurting because you just have to, there might be something else going on. See, therianthropy in and of itself is not a mental health condition, it's not a disorder. But a lot of therians also have mental health disorders, and there's nothing wrong with that. The important thing is to seek treatment and support. And if you can't seek treatment, at least talk to a trusted adult or friend or someone that you love about what you're going through. Because listen, chances are you're not alone. And if you are experiencing symptoms of delusions or schizophrenia, or believing you are physically an animal in a way that is causing you harm, please reach out to a mental health professional and get treatment as soon as possible. Because I want what's best for you, and I want you to be safe and okay. And getting treatment is the best way. If you liked this video, make sure to give that like button a like. Yeah, like that, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel. I will be talking about more therianthropy topics and furry topics, and I will be making way more arts and crafts projects. So make sure to follow along if you like this kind of content, and I will see you next time.